Man, Inside Out. Oh my gosh. Man, guys, and guys, so much. Tonight we were actually supposed to be back at in-person services, and unfortunately, due to some COVID exposure within the church, we were not able to meet tonight. But man, I miss you guys. I really do. If you don't know who I am, my name is CJ. I have the pleasure of being one of the middle school boys small group leaders, and man, I get to do this every week. I'm so thankful. I'm so blessed that I get to hang out with you guys every week, whether it's online, whether it's in person, in Zoom, Facebook, YouTube. I get to hang out with you guys. If you're here, go say what's up in the chat. This week, tonight, we are wrapping up our series, Fake News. And, we've done this whole series from my bedroom, which is, I think, the craziest thing ever. And, it's, a fun experience. I've never done this. What's up, Bella? This series has been about debunking some of the myths that the Big C Church, or, some of the things we've been raised believing about church, just debunking that. Hi, Mom. What's up, Mom? Hey. And, in week one, we talked about the myth that God's job isn't to make you happy. In fact, God is more concerned about your fullness than your happiness. In week two, last week, we debunked the myth that God won't give us more than than we can handle. So say that one more time. We debunked the myth that God won't give us more than we can handle. What up, Street? Our big idea from last week was God doesn't give us what we can't. God doesn't give us what we can handle. God helps us handle what we are given. And this week, we're diving into another myth. But before we get into that, let me talk about some that's going on in my life. Everyone watching, you probably know, but if you don't, you probably know. I am an extremely competitive person, and I realized over the summer, one of my homies, one of my good friends, told me that I can get a little too competitive. I mean, God is really, really working on me on this, man. I get mad. I'll talk trash. Like, this is the kind of, I'm very, very competitive. I love to win, but I also love working really, really hard and being rewarded for it. There's something inside of us that makes us feel like we need to earn everything. This plays out in all aspects of life. My boy Bing, what's up? In school, maybe if I study, I'll make good grades, okay? Maybe for some of you high schoolers, if you're at work, if I work hard, I'll get paid. I'll get my paycheck, get my money, go buy whatever I want. This works out in relationships. If I'm a good friend, if I'm a good boyfriend, if I'm a good girlfriend, I'll have a good relationship. And the truth is that life works, that's how life works most of the time. But the danger really comes when we transfer this mindset to God. We think God only loves good people. We would never say this out loud, but we feel like most of us feel this is true. Many of us disqualify ourselves from really diving into our faith because deep down, we don't feel like we're good enough to be loved by God. We don't feel like we've earned it. So why even try? And this is a problem that, something that's been really hard to shake throughout history. In fact, Paul wrote about this over and over, and we're going to look at a letter Paul wrote, and then that he wrote to a church in Ephesus. And one thing to note about this, Paul wrote this when he was in jail. He was in prison writing to a few churches. So Ephesus, there's 3 other books that he was writing from jail. And it says in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 through 9, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves, it is a gift of God. Not by works, so that no one can boast." We're going to do that one more time. "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourselves, and it is a gift of God. Not by works, so that no one can boast about it." So, What is grace? Grace is unearned, undeserved, unmerited favor of God. It does not say through being a great person you have been saved. No. It says you were saved through something you cannot earn. And it makes me think of something really cool in the Bible. Another Bible story that we find in Luke chapter 10. And we see we're in this is around the time after Lazarus. You got the guy Lazarus who died. Jesus rose this dude from the dead. And I really love this story, but we're going to be talking about a little bit after. And so it says in Luke chapter 10, verse 38, as Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. I'm sorry, this is before Lazarus. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are worried and upset over all the details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away. And one big thing that sticks out and that it kind of relates. See, I took this from another sermon. Pastor Seth, he used to be the pastor here. I saw one of his old messages, and this message, when going over my message, it just really stuck with me. Martha was worried about doing all these things to impress Jesus and to get the dinner ready and to get everything all nice. And then Mary was sitting at the feet of Jesus. And instead of helping Martha, see, Martha was trying to get it all together. Mary was at Jesus' feet. And Paul kind of talks about this. Jesus doesn't want you to do all the right things. Jesus wants you to sit at his feet. Paul is digging into the truth that it has nothing to do with everything you can do. The only part you play is the through faith. That's what Mary understood. If I sit at Jesus' feet, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter about getting everything ready. It's about being at Jesus' feet. You need to understand and believe that there is nothing you can do to earn God's love or his blessing. He just loves you. You couldn't save yourself. You were supposed to be separated from God forever. And there was nothing you could do to save yourself. And Mary understood that. This is a problem that I think a lot of people struggle with. When I was younger, I was told that trying to earn God's love is like telling Jesus that dying on the cross for me was unnecessary. Ouch. We believe the lie that if we do good things, we'll be blessed. And if we do bad things, good luck. Because Jesus died on the cross, that mentality no longer applies. Now, will you have earthly consequences if you sin? Most likely. But will that change the way God feels about you? No. Will the way God feels about you change? Absolutely not. And that leads us into our bottom line. God's grace is limitless, not limited. It's not about doing all these things to earn back the grace that you've been given. It's grace. It's been given to you. All you have to do is sit at the feet of Jesus. There's nothing you could do to lose the grace of God because there was nothing we could do to earn it. It was freely given to us. Because of that, we should be so overcome with gratefulness that we obey, not because we have to, but because we want to. Mary sat at the feet of Jesus, not because she was trying to impress him, because she had been so overwhelmed because of what Jesus has done in her life. We do what we want so that we can, because we're so grateful that we obey, not because we have to, but because we want to. Now, this doesn't give us the right to do anything we want without, regard for others. Sure, We have grace, but sin still hurts and can hurt others. And one really cool thing that I heard before, I heard an interview with Justin Bieber in which he kind of explained God's grace something like this. I don't cheat on my girlfriend, or I'm sorry, let me restart that. I don't cheat on my girlfriend, but not because I want her to love me. I don't cheat on my girlfriend because I love her. And Justin might be onto it. He might be onto the Mary side of faith. I don't cheat on my girlfriend, but not because I want her to love me. I don't cheat on my girlfriend because I love her. We don't obey to earn God's grace. We obey because we have God's grace. And so as we get ready for small groups, if you're not connected, we'll get into that. I want you to think about this question, maybe going out throughout the week, throughout small groups, school, as we go back to work, all these things. What is something in your life that you did not have to earn? What is something in your life that you did not have to earn? Let's pray. God, I'm so thankful for your grace because you offer it even when I didn't deserve it. And I pray I live out a life that obeys you, not because I have to, but it obeys because I want to, because of what you've done for me. I pray as we go into our weeks, as we go back, as we're going into school and to work and whatever it may be, we can have a Mary faith, not a Martha faith that tries to get everything set up and everything, but just sitting at your feet because that's all you want, King Jesus. It's in your heavenly and precious name I pray. Amen. All right. Go to group. If you're not connected, text student 1C to 97,000 and we will get you connected to a small group. I guarantee you that. I love you all. Go to small group.